I am Penina Karibe, and this afternoon I have the pleasure of having with me the CEO of the Kenya Tourism Board, Madam June Chepkemei. Thank you very much for joining us, Madam June.
Thank you, Penina.
And I have just to say, just to put it into context for our viewers, the Kenya Tourism Board is the board that is tasked with marketing Kenya as a tourist destination. And Madam June, I love the tagline you have for Kenya. Magical Kenya is what you call it. So someone might wonder, why is Kenya, or what makes Kenya a unique tourism destination?
Oh yes, we are but a magical destination. This country is the only offering in the world that has one of the wonders of the world that is magical, and that is the wildebeest migration. You'll get it nowhere other than in Maasai Mara, which is a game reserve in Kenya. Beyond just the wildebeest migration, we have amazing parks and reserves that will give you the 9 big 5, which are basically the wildlife in their natural habitat that you would never see it anywhere. It's not a zoo, it's nature.
Yeah.
You interact with nature. We also have the longest and the cleanest beach in the continent of Africa within our coastal area. The reason we are magical is that the adventure that you can have in the Rift Valley can never be matched. Yes, we are magical because we are magical people with the great culture and great energy. And I could go on because we have unique offerings as a country that you can never find anywhere in the world.
Okay, so let's zero it now to where we are, the
Yes.
Maasai Mara, the setting of what you called one of the greatest spectacles in the natural world, the Great Migration. What is the importance of the Maasai Mara to Kenya's tourism?
Maasai Mara is in a bucket list of a majority of the travelers or tourists, or those who aspire to experience the greatest natural phenomenon. And for us, it's the port at which we send people to the different experiences within Kenya. So they start here and they experience the different offerings that we have as a country. And it stands out because it is not just about the wildebeest migration, it's about its economic contribution to the country, it's about its cultural contribution to who we are as a people, and also how the community is able to really coexist with wildlife. So for us, it's so unique, and we are proud to be a host of Mara.
Right. So what are the challenges that you face in the tourism sector, and how are you as the Kenya Tourism Board addressing those challenges?
Oh yes, Penina, we are considered as a long-haul destination because we are
What
very
does that
far.
mean, long-haul destination?
We are far from really the rest of the world, depending on where you are coming from. So people look at it as far. That's one of the greatest challenge, but it's a worth travel for you to experience. And therefore you find visitors going to neighbors in their different continents. Let's take, for example, China.
Right.
You find the amazing people of China probably preferring to go next door, which is Thailand and the rest. So that is a challenge for us because they see us as a long-haul destination. But how we are overcoming that is that you're telling them that, yes, we have something unique that is worth the travel. We also are faced with challenges of different conservation policies that different countries have. For example, in Kenya, we are focused on taking care of wildlife. We are committed. That may not be the case given that wildlife do not have boundaries.
Right.
Beyond that, we've seen the impact of climate change in the world.
Right.
We are just next to the amazing River Mara,
Right.
and we have seen it change over time because of climate change. But as a matter of policy, our president has made it mandatory for us to conserve the ecosystem, and every single week we are planting trees.
Every single week?
Every single week we are planting trees. And we even have a new initiative, Penina, that we call it One Tourist, One Tree. So whenever a tourist comes to the country, we give them a chance to plant a tree so that we can all fight the effect of climate change.
That's incredible. I like that. One tourist, one tree. Please put that in mind. When you come here, you plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
Perhaps we should extend it further and give them names so that people can feel attached to that tree.
You have an opportunity of naming your tree, and we can even link it to GPS and technology. So wherever you are, you can trace the growth of your tree.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
So you have a reason to be here.
that's incredible.
Yes.
And I love that, the magical Kenya thing, because just as you were talking, there was the hippos behind you that were
Yes.
just grunting. So just to make people understand what the noises are,
Yeah.
as she said, we're right next to the Mara River and there's some hippos. So they once in a while keep making these noises.
Yes.
So Madam June, I'm sure all of the things that you're telling us would make somebody aspire to want to come here, especially for those who haven't been. So what are some of the initiatives for you as KTB are looking at to grow visitors numbers into Kenya?
So we want to tell the story of Kenya more through partnerships, through collaborations, and just working with like-minded stakeholders to really tell the story of magical Kenya in a manner that different people in the world are able to consume and understand and appreciate the destination. Beyond that, we are leveraging the bilateral relationship that our country has, for example, with the amazing people of China, to really see how we can tell our story and help them access destination Kenya. We are happy that there is now a new airline that will be really coming direct from Asia to Kenya. Those are some of the ways of ensuring that we make it possible for people to connect to the destination.
Okay, and yesterday we had the privilege of having the Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife, and she said that Kenya is also looking to attract more visitors from different source markets. For you as the Kenya Tourism Board, I know you're focused on growing the number of Chinese tourists to, I think, about 150,000 annually, if I'm not wrong. What are some of the strategies you're employing to grow those Chinese numbers?
First of all, we must acknowledge that our growth market, the largest growth market that has gone beyond 100% growth, is China.
Wow.
Yes, we are seeing more Chinese coming to Kenya, not just to visit, but we are seeing them coming to live here. We're seeing them coming to invest here. We are seeing them coming to just engage with people and enjoy our culture. So we have set a specific team dedicated to China.
Okay.
Yes, and this team is working with our Chinese counterpart, the tours and travel agents in China, the airline, the embassies, to just help us connect with the governments, the specific provinces. For example, we have a great relationship with Hunan province.
Oh,
yes, just to make sure that we are continuously helping our people to discover what is outside our boundaries. And it vice versa. We send them to China and we bring Chinese to Kenya.
You know, when you say that, you remind me of something that the Chinese government likes to say a lot. It talks about people-to-people exchanges and cultural exchanges. And I know one of the platforms for that is a summit that happens called the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, FOCAC. It's happening this year in China in September. Are you, as KTB, looking at that as a launchpad to promote tourism here in Kenya?
Penina, we are, and we are in talk with your media house to see how we can even partner in that forum with regards to content and what it is that we can speak to out there. But remember, it is a country-to-country relationship. It's a platform that then leverages on the bilateral relationships. And I must confirm that subsequent FOCAC meetings have resulted in more Chinese investors building many hotels in this country. One of the newest facility that I would not mention is actually developed by a Chinese investor as a result of that FOCAC. So we are seeing more Chinese coming to do business in Kenya as a result of FOCAC. We are seeing more investment in the hospitality sector by the Chinese people themselves. And most importantly, we are seeing those tourism exchange between the two countries bearing fruits. Going into the future, we want to accelerate that.
Okay, let's talk about the role of technology. How are you leveraging that when it comes to boosting Kenya's tourism?
Technology is helping us, first of all, communicate through our digital platforms, but we also was able to have a platform between the Hunan province and Kenya Tourism Board that can allow us to communicate. We notice that these days the young Chinese are more adventurous. They want to come to the country to film. They want to come to the country to engage, to enjoy the adventure, and they travel in groups. So we are leveraging that platform to then allow them to post. Whoever wants to travel to Kenya, they post in that group and say, I will be traveling to Kenya in this and this day. Who wants to join me? So that's helping us build cohort of smaller, younger Chinese to be able to come to Kenya and meet the people of Kenya, the young people of Kenya, and have cultural exchanges.
Okay, so we know that Kenya, of course, exists in a region where tourism is thriving. We have countries such as Tanzania, countries such as South Africa, which offer stiff competition to Kenya. How is KTB leveraging Kenya so that it can be more competitive?
Listen, Penina, core branding is proven to be a fantastic way of pushing us. For the longest time, if you read the history of Kenya and its relationship with its neighbors, we are the big brothers.
Right.
We embrace our neighbors. And so we see them more as collaborators other than competitors. And we are agreeing that if there's a unique offering that our neighbors have that we don't have, we will still help them market that. So we're able to tell them that, listen, when you come to Kenya, please also visit Tanzania, also visit Uganda,
Oh, really?
also visit Rwanda, because we want to position Africa as a destination. And there's nothing that stops a tourist from enjoying Mara and crossing over. Beyond that, we noticed that the African Continental Free Trade Area, which is ACFTFA, is giving us an access to 1.3 billion people in the continent.
Yes.
So we shall continue to work together. We shall continue to run joint marketing campaigns. But of course, as a country, we say that this is where the thrill is, this is where the energy is.
Yeah.
So you cannot afford not to be in Kenya if you're in Africa.
You know what I love to say about Kenya, and I love how you call it magical Kenya, is because there's always something known, something magical known about Kenya. You talk about the athletes, they're from Kenya, you know. You talk about the big five, they're from Kenya. But I wonder, Madam June, if there are other things, little known things here in Kenya that you think are of value, that a visitor could fly, for example, all the way from China to come and see. And there are such things that exist. We could call them perhaps undiscovered things in Kenya.
We have amazing hidden gems. Starting from just the people.
Right.
We keep saying that as a country, we are a country of over 50 million smiles. It's a hidden gem.
Yes.
Just the people, just the culture. We have the crying stones of Kakamega.
Why are they called the crying stones?
Because when you get there, you feel the energy, you feel the great sounds, the amazing sounds.
Okay.
We have a space in Machakos that has divided the gravity, that when you go there, you see the water going up against the law of gravity. We have the amazing people of Taita and their culture.
Taita is, just to put it into context, near the coastal region of Kenya.
Yes. We have our greatest runners who are in Iten,
Yes.
where when you land there, you're able to sit with Kipchoge, dine with Faith, run with Mora. They are within Kenya and in the Rift Valley.